Welcome to Paranormal XL. I am your host, Gigi, and today I have with me Scott and Amanda from Scar Encounters. They came all the way from Indiana to come see us at the para party that we're having. So, say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. Aw. And they have a little one. Here, get up there and say hello.
Hello.
Aw. So they just actually got done with a really long reading with Mama Mary. And why don't you guys tell us how that went for you?
Go right ahead.
Make me first. Okay. Well, I thought it was actually pretty spot on. She started off with just kind of explaining that the first thing she saw was the sun with me. She said I got a really energetic, bright personality, and I guess there's a certain good side of me that I don't show people very often or easily.
So you got to find that good side.
And then she said there's a gray area. Not quite sure what the gray area is, but might have something to do with maybe fascination with like the other side, being in the paranormal field, since we just started this April of this year. So I know with our dedication level, it might have something to do with that. Might also have something to do with my grandma when she had died when I was about 16 years old. If anything, my mom more so had a lot of experiences happen where she was thinking my grandma kind of made a little bit of a visit because she had this jewelry box that used to be my grandma's, and she randomly threw it away at one point. And that same night, about 2 or 3 in the morning, she heard the jewelry box music go off. Sounded like it was in her closet. And my dad's kind of the type that's, quiet, a little bit skeptical. When they woke up in the morning, I guess my dad was the first one that kind of came out and said, "Did you hear some jewelry box music last night?" And my mom's like, "Holy shit, you heard that too?" So after that, anything that's been my grandma's, she won't throw away because she's afraid that my grandma's just going to come around again.
Right.
But, aside from that with her reading, I think she pretty much was picking up, which honestly kind of surprised me, but she mentioned that I might have some empath abilities, but I don't present it very easily, because I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I'm a believer, but then I'm a skeptic. I want to believe, but I have a hard time
but maybe
at the same time.
Do you think maybe, I want to say you being an empath, maybe that's one of your reasons you do have such a passion for doing paranormal investigations?
Could be.
I just thought of that.
Yeah, it's like I've always been fascinated with it. Even when I was younger, it scared me and fascinated me at the same time. And I know she mentioned, a lot of times people that have like anxiety issues, sometimes even, anything stress or depression related might have something to do with not knowing how to release your energy the right way. And I told her throughout my whole life, I have dealt with that. I used to have to take medication for it. Couldn't handle it very well. And pretty much outside of high school, I kind of, grew out of that. But it definitely, that interested me for her to tell me all that, because I've never heard of that, I guess.
Right.
For people to possibly have those kind of abilities and have those problems. And maybe that's why I had it in the first place.
Right.
Who knows?
You never linked up the two.
Yeah, exactly. So... I guess those were the main things that she had really pointed out. And, she just, when she was doing the card reading, she just kind of mentioned, for me to open myself up spiritually a lot more.
Oh,
and
she
I'll
loves
be
telling
surprised
people
with
that.
what'll happen when I start doing that.
Yes.
So,
well, even just getting into, I think we discussed this actually in the first interview, maybe part 2 of it, where I believe your medium told you the same thing, that once you guys start doing the investigations and stuff, it will open you up. Like you have,
Yeah.
that's just going
Yeah,
to
she
happen.
said that
just
for
'cause you're
sure.
looking for things,
Yeah.
this particular thing.
She said, we may not exactly like see,
Mhm.
anything or, have
And
any kind of psychic abilities,
Right.
but, we might pick up on things a lot more than when we first started. And
Oh yeah.
it's kind of how I told you a little bit earlier, too, when we were at Prospect Place Estates over the weekend, in this house, it's like we were in all these rooms, and I didn't have the same feeling that I did as when I was about to go to the bathroom. So one of these back rooms where they said that more than likely one of the men that had actually owned that house had died in that room. And I don't know if maybe I was thinking to myself, okay, somebody died in there, so it creeped me out more. But I felt comfortable everywhere else. But the moment I went right to that doorway to try to get to the bathroom, the only bathroom there, something just stopped me. I had a lot of anxiety out of nowhere. It just like hit me. And I almost felt like there was something there that was not happy and did not want me to go in there. So I just froze for a moment, and I just turned right back around, went down the hallway, said, Jared, come with me, stand outside this room so I can go to the bathroom.
Right.
And he did. But I don't know. It was the weirdest thing because the other places that we've investigated at, I've never, ever had that feeling before.
Right. Interesting.
Like when we went to the Kosciuszko County Jail, I sat in a dark cell where a guy hung himself and, was in there in the first place for, is accused of molesting his daughter, supposedly. We were in solitary confinement, 2 men in there that had killed themselves too, and I never got those kind of feelings at all. So I don't know. Maybe Mary's right. Maybe now that I'm going to places more, I'm starting to pick up on things a little bit more.
Right. Well, yeah.
We'll see.
As I said, you're going into those places essentially looking for something.
Yeah.
We're not always going to get things, but now that you're looking for something, you might subconsciously make yourself more emotionally aware.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But what about you, big guy?
It was interesting. It was my first real reading. My psychic medium on our team did a reading without me even really knowing about it. It was inadvertent. Like she was just near me, and she's like, "Well, there's all the info." Just didn't want to share some of the stuff, and I still don't know. But with Mary, it was interesting. She's got a lot of stuff that I have heard. A medium that's a friend of my mom, she kind of said some of the similar topics of being more of an older soul and being kind of the warrior mentality, which, Mary doesn't know me, but she knows now that I'm a veteran. I did go to Afghanistan, all that stuff, so I was kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Right.
But then she touched more direct with being a little bit of an adrenaline junkie that hasn't really...
I can tell the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the way up here today, we actually passed a guy hauling a dirt bike, and I mentioned to Amanda, I was like, oh, man, I wish I would have never sold mine when I was like 15. Like I always told myself I was going to buy another one and never have. And it was funny because we sat down for the reading, and she mentioned that... or she saw motocross and wondered if I ever raced and I should get back into it. And so it was kind of like, oh, well, holy shit. And so kind of came to the crossroads of me having to kind of get back into something that's a little bit more exciting. You know, the paranormal stuff, it's exciting once you get the video together and you're looking at it and you're watching it.
Time consuming.
When you're actually during the investigation, it's a lot more of talking to the wind and sitting in a dark room by yourself or with people, and it's not super exciting always.
Right.
It can be,
Yeah, for sure.
Prospect Place in the basement by myself. It was about 5 minutes in. I was like, okay, this is a little creepy. I don't like this.
Or if you're a
I'm good,
medium
bye.
like Carrie is, she
Carrie
looks
had all
completely
kinds of-
drunk and drained while just sitting in, our
barn.
nerve center?
Oh, yeah.
She was just sitting there and she's like, and I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm a little bit drained.
Yeah,
I'm fine
yeah.
now.
No, but it was a good experience, and I kind of know little ideas that I've been having lately should probably be pursued. It's going to cost me some money.
Amanda's like, mm-hmm.
What's new?
Yep. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that she kind of hit some things
Yeah, for sure.
good for you.
Definitely was, a lot of it was very spot on. And, you know, we had her do a reading with, you know, my daughter Misha here, and I thought that was really interesting because she said that she's seen a lot of past lives between me and her, like almost like there was like a past life where she at one point was like my mom. Really?
That's the witch trials. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to hear that, and just for her to mention, you know, Misha having kind of like an old soul, despite being a 6-year-old girl. And she picked up on her having a lot of colorful type of dreams, and mentioned her having at least like 4 imaginary friends that she also has in her dreams. Was it 3? Well, I thought she said 4. Sorry.
She's like, no, I have 3. I have 3.
She corrected me. Okay, 3. But yeah, just to hear that, I mean, I don't know if that really means anything, but he brought up a good point about wondering if maybe like that might mean like she's got some kind of abilities that we aren't really aware of. Maybe it'll come out a little bit more the older she gets. So.
Yeah, because she probably doesn't know what to do with it. You know, if she's got the ability, young kids don't, especially if you run into those parents that kind of completely shy away from it. Because I had a lot of experiences when I was younger, but I would have got thrown in a straitjacket if I would have said anything. So luckily, when I met Mary, a lot of that stuff came out because she's like, you know, when I very first met her over at my dad's house, she was like, a lot of stuff has happened to you. And I'm like, who the hell are you? I'm like, what? You know, and she's like, you need to come to terms with it because you're never going to be able to change and grow from that. You know, and I'm like, because I was definitely not any type of believer. When I talked to her that first time, I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on here? But I was able to touch back with those things when I was younger, you know. Strange things happening to me. It was scary when I was younger, but now I'm like, okay, that's probably what it was. I don't know. I'm still a skeptic believer. I want to try to debunk everything. Who is playing that piano?
I know. I was sitting here like, am I the only one? And then I forgot about that.
I was wondering what was going on with you. You're like, anybody else hear that music? Is Grandma back with the music box?
The ADD kicking in.
Yeah, that could be.
That is funny. So what do you guys have planned next for your big investigations?
Well, unfortunately, we wanted to go down to the Octagon Hall in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we called, and we kind of already, we looked on their website, and they had September 14th open, and we're like, awesome. Like, we're just going to take the rest of August and relax a little bit, and then kick back in September. But the day that I called is the day that they booked earlier in the day with somebody else. So we're kind of, we don't really have anything until, I don't think we have anything at all in September.
Yeah,
okay.
We go to the Monroe House with
that's right.
a different team. Was it October 6th? We're going to be going there. We're just kind of going to make a little, well, not guest appearance, I guess. We'll be there. Not overnight, but they're a good couple of hours.
So about 10.
Okay.
She's got to work the next morning, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
And where's that at? You said?
Monroe House, Hartford City, Indiana.
Okay.
Where they found where Nick Groff found the body buried in the basement.
Yeah, they found bones and.
They claim it's a demon house, but we'll see.
Huh. That's what they claim. How exciting.
Oh, and then, of course, Fort William Henry in
Yeah.
upstate New York in the end of October.
Okay. That'll be
November,
exciting.
we're going
Actually, Halloween
back.
weekend.
In the
Really?
November, we're going back to Kosciuszko County.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. We'll have new team members that we actually have 2 new guys that this is their first time even doing any of this stuff, so they're completely new with it.
Okay.
So
That'll be fun.
I kind of
Something
hope
different.
that we start going into places where it is a little bit more active. Just I
So
would
they
like to
can
see the
experience it.
reactions. I'd like to see my own reaction, actually. I'm probably going to be like Aaron.
Well, she really wants to be touched by a spirit. I know this.
I do.
She does.
Funny story. When we were at Prospect Place in the barn, we had the tour guide that was talking to us, and she said there is a male entity there that does not like women, and there's been people that have been scratched. Well, later on in the barn, what was it? It was you, Jared, Carrie, and Tammy. And I'm about to walk in there, and I out of nowhere, I'm hearing both Carrie and Tammy, and they're just like, well, we didn't get scratched, but out loud, they're like, you can scratch Amanda. She just walked in here. And I'm not the type that provokes or anything, but I just kind of went with it and was like, sure, at this point, since not much was going on, I just sat on a chair and was like, okay, if you want to scratch me or something at this point, go ahead. Didn't have anything happen, but we did, what was it? We had a REM pod that was in that barn that did.
That thing was quite active with the REM pod.
Yeah.
And it was even at the point where I was recording on one side. And, you know, the way the REM pod works is it's got the 4 lights on either corner. So if this one lights up, you know that there's something on that side making it light up. Mm-hmm. And, I would be fine with provoking. If it was me and like 3 other people that were like, hell yeah, let's do this, then
Danger's your middle name, huh?
I would do it because I want to get that rise. And, you know, I'm the same way with human beings. You know, I'll get the rise out of you.
You're an asshole. I'm just nice one though.
No, I would. I wouldn't. I don't think I would challenge anything to the point of being dangerous, but I would definitely try to get some excitement and some, you know, energy in the room.
Something to happen.
And so they were actually Carrie, the one who's very adamant against provoking, was kind of like, you know, stepping the game up and like getting the energy level a little higher. So I was like, all right.
It was more like she picked up on stuff there, but the fact that like she can see and hear them and we couldn't, and we were kind of like, it's dead here.
Right.
She started like getting fed up and she's like, all right, come on, you need to like do something at this point. Here. Like she was provoking and we're like, wow, okay, Carrie.
Yeah, and that's when I was recording the REM pod. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Jared was recording. I was just standing over on one side. Recording. And I'm like, yeah, you know, push me, you know, smack me, punch me, pull my hair, do whatever. Like at this point, like just
said
do
that a time
something.
or two in my life.
And then
just
the REM pod went from lighting up on this side to actually on my side. And at the same time, it was kind of like I got a little bit of a chill, and I'm like, okay, all right,
I'm gonna go over here now. Yeah,
you know, it was kind of like, all right, well, that was pretty interesting, but you know, to me, it's still like, it's not that solid, you know, evidence that I'm really looking for.
So what you're looking for is like a busted apparition in front of you and be like, hey man, I'm here.
Even a half apparition, I'd be happy with that. A hand, like a
just
shadow
a
hand on a video record like that would be enough for me.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm good.
Nice. Say my name in an EVP recording, or
yeah, because it's like we've gotten stuff, you know, we've gotten EVPs and stuff, but I'm still like him, even with getting that. And being like, well, holy crap, nobody else said that, so that clearly was a spirit. Like, I still actually want to be able to see.
Well, yeah,
you know, see an apparition, or
that would be the best way to make you.
That pretty much, yeah, that would complete it for me.
I mean, the EVPs and stuff are cool to hear and stuff. You're like, holy shit, that's awesome, you know. And especially if they answer the question in the right way, you know, if you're asking questions and whatnot. But to actually see one would be
yeah, right, for sure.
Yeah, definitely make a something like a REM pod or a K2 or any of those light up flashy BB devices. They're really cool. I love the science behind them.
Right.
But to me, those aren't necessarily solid evidence.
Right.
They're really good backing evidence. You know, if you're catching an EVP at the same time your REM pod's going off, that's solid.
Right.
But I mean, if your REM pod just goes beep beep, it's like,
that could have been anything. Yeah. Yeah, but to have all that stuff happen at once, you know, would be essentially the best. But after that though, I don't know, would the investigating still be as fun? Because you're searching for something. I
mean, it is interesting though when you see that REM pod going off, just because the one time that it really went off, we had a residential investigation that we did. Actually in our hometown. And when we went to that one, a lot of the activity, if anything, was in the client's bedroom. Our medium picked up on a creepy man. He was, I think she was saying he was in his 40s.
Okay.
For some reason, he was kind of attached to her and picking on her in the family. This is why she called him a creeper. He would not only watch her when she'd be sleeping at night, hovering over her bed, but he would actually, when she would be taking a shower, he would have his hand up against the door. She kept picking up on like him, like he's blocking the door from her coming back out.
Right.
Like he had a problem with her for some reason. And so that was her nickname for him, was Creeper. Wasn't a very happy spirit or anything. Did not want to cross over, clearly. She actually scared the crap out of me because when it was just me and her in this dark room, and the REM pod was in there, and we had our EVPs, and I had the camera, and she's talking to the spirit, and she's just like, guess what? Tonight I'm going to help you cross over. It's like literally within seconds of her saying that, she looks over her shoulder where the doorway was, and I was like, what do you see? And she goes, he's breathing down my neck right now, and he's not happy with me. And out of nowhere, she's just like, I gotta get out of here. I feel so uncomfortable. He doesn't want me in here. She turns around and just starts walking off, and I'm like, wait for me. Like, I don't see anything. So I hurried and went out there too. And she was like, just the look on her face, she was legitimately freaked out. She got in touch with one of her other, she's on different paranormal teams too.
Oh, right. Yep.
One of them is also a medium. She kind of got advice from her on like proper ways to cleanse the house, what to do with spirits like this that don't want to cross over, that are not happy.
Right.
But I mean, it was insane because we were in the kitchen, and literally like within seconds of him being out there slightly disappointed and saying, I don't think I'm going to believe in spirits ever. It's like that REM pod went off hard, like in that bedroom. And Carrie, you hear her down the hallway, come on, you guys, it's lighting up right now. Everybody except for me got to see it light up because it stopped right when we all started to go into the living room to go into that room. But they got to catch a glimpse. I didn't, but I could hear it.
Right.
Like, I guess they were saying it lit completely up, and to have a REM pod be able to do that.
Right.
She's actually only had that REM pod actually at that time. What was it? She probably only...
That was her second investigation with that REM pod.
Yeah. Her second time, she said she went to a different place, just...
Hinsdale.
Okay, yeah.
It didn't light up.
Nothing to Hinsdale.
So for it to light up at a resident's house like that was like, wow,
I don't know
for her.
She hasn't read anything.
And it was all four, because I saw it. It was all four lights, and the beep tone changes.
Okay, yeah.
So like it's got the antenna on it, and like when you get close to the antenna, it will kind of beep in the direction where your hand's at.
Right.
And then when you actually touch the antenna, all four of them light up, and the tone changes to a higher pitch, and that's actually what it was doing.
Okay.
So it was like, it was like grabbing onto it.
I can hear. Wow.
But it was interesting. There was a cat in the house, and at first when I saw it going off, I'm like, cat. It probably jumped up on the stand that it was sitting on.
Right.
But as I'm thinking that, I look over, and the cat and the dog are both sitting in the living room floor. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty awesome, though, because Carrie did actually help that spirit crossover along with, she picked up on a little girl. Mm-hmm. She said she was a runaway in the neighborhood, and that girl, I don't even know how she had died, but she actually came to Carrie and asked for help. She wanted to cross over, and Carrie helped her like that. The other guy was a little bit more difficult.
Right, well, he didn't want to go, so.
It was amazing to experience, just because by the time everything was said and done, and when we were going to get packing up to leave, and Carrie had, like, talked to our client, like, she almost looked like she was going to cry. Like, Carrie gave her a hug, and she's like, thank you so much for helping me. And, you know, she just kind of explained that she already feels like a big weight is lifted off her shoulders. And I actually just a couple days ago checked up on her.
I was just going to ask if you...
I messaged her to ask how things have been.
Right.
Has she been having any activity, been feeling like anything's watching her or anything? She said absolutely 0%.
Oh,
nothing.
good.
She doesn't feel anything. And she said it's a nice feeling since she hasn't had that for years, since she's been there. So...
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. That's got to feel good knowing that you guys help somebody. I mean, that's essentially why we do this, get answers, but also help people along the way. It's awesome.
And to go into really cool old buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Going to cool places.
For sure. And, you know, of course, for more of, like, the pricey places, that's why we're cool with, you know, teaming up with other
teams,
you know, paranormal teams to... It's a little bit of a money saver.
That was something I've learned recently, actually, since like starting the interviews with different crews and stuff. I always wondered how people got into some of these cool places. Now I know. I'm like, oh, cha-ching. That's exactly how. Has nothing to do with who you know. Yep. It's your pocketbook.
If you guys have anything going on up in here, around this area, any bigger, more expensive places, we'd be happy to bring our team.
Let us know.
That'd be awesome. Look into that for sure. I know there's a few places. No, there's a hotel up in here.
The Cadillac area?
Yeah, yeah. Up in,
We have a guest.
oh, maybe. Yeah, about this area where I'm gonna say like 1920s and stuff. There was mobsters, that got shot up and
I'm
stuff
already
there.
interested.
Yes, and you can go there and stay. And when I
Anything
actually,
20s is very interesting.
yes, for sure.
I think it's empty.
That's in the list of like haunted places in Michigan. Like I actually have somewhere in my paperwork all the places that are registered as haunted or that type of thing. But that is one that stuck with me just because being from the 1920s and stuff like that, and the old mobsters. And I think I do believe a serial killer stayed there, which is always kind of cool too.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever
that
heard
sparked
of
my interest.
Morbid way.
the Bruce Mansion? It's on the other side of the state. When we first got started, we were just looking places up, and we had a poll on our Facebook page of where should we go? And it was between Prospect Place and the Bruce Mansion,
Okay.
and I was all about Bruce Mansion. I mean,
Right.
it's 45 minutes from my parents' house.
Okay.
They've got a 2-story, but with a finished 3rd floor basement
yeah.
and rooms and everything. I'm like, we could bring the whole team up. We wouldn't have to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful Victorian mansion. Closed. They condemned it. I was like, no.
We could
But-
sneak in. I'm like, we could sneak
I still
in.
I still thought about trying to just get in contact with whoever owns it and being
yeah.
like,
I don't think
"Please."
actually they condemned it. I think what actually happened is that it's under new ownership and they're actually fixing it up to, I think, rent it out instead. And so those people decided no more investigations at that place. So really, I mean, you can just,
Dang.
Well, you know
be on
what?
the
They need
outside of it.
money in order to finish renovating.
That would be a perfect
So-
way to do it.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
And my
you
dad
are
was a
right.
carpenter, so maybe I can bribe him a little bit
There
too.
you go. Like, I'll help you. You
Just
help
go put their
me.
trim in or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I just need to get in there.
but yeah, I mean, that worked out in the long run because that poll that we made, well, sorry guys, we couldn't go into that one. So Prospect it is.
Yep.
Months later.
Yep.
We're thinking of probably doing that again, giving like people
Oh,
in
the
our
poll.
group
Yeah.
the option. Hey,
Yeah.
pick there are 2 places, pick one of them for us.
Yeah.
But
getting the
with that
people
being said, when we
involved.
do that, we have to have probably time in advance to be able to pick one because it might get booked. Since it clearly
get
has
like
done that
next
with a
year.
couple of places that we've been interested in.
I mean, even though Prospect Place wasn't very fruitful as of yet, now
Right.
we still have probably 95% of our audio to go through.
Yeah, we haven't
Almost
even
The
gotten
fun
all of
started.
our
stuff.
video, just because I was really bummed about our video quality. Not the actual video quality, but the lighting. They're 12-foot ceilings, massive rooms. I mean, the hallway was 10 foot wide. I mean, it was
Oh, geez.
huge. This location. I mean, you see it in
Yeah,
pictures,
it
and you're
was
like,
a
oh, that's a really
big
big house. But
place.
then you get there, and you're like, holy hell.
This is a
place
really,
is
really big house.
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our issue was, we're using wide angle lights, and we did have one spotlight, but that was kind of on our roving. I call them roving cameras, the cameras that we carry.
Yeah.
But our static cameras, it's like when they sit there with those wide angle lights on, it just dissipates within like 5 feet. And
Right.
then, looking 5 feet into nothing, it's just there's nothing to see. And so now on my Amazon wish list, I have a floodlight that's designed to light up an entire parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
of course
fair
we're
enough.
tossing around some ideas on our own lighting. So hopefully we'll get
Yeah, you
some,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
get something going that way, and maybe next year we'll have a revisit and stay back at the Jenny Marie Inn.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Have you guys ever went back to a location that you guys?
No, not until Kosciuszko County though. That'll be
Okay.
That'll be our
yeah,
first
that'll be
revisit.
Okay.
our first revisit to do.
I
I
think
am
those would be
open to
fun.
going back to Prospect maybe sometime next year,
Mhm.
and staying in a cot overnight in it because they do give you cots if
Oh.
you want to stay the night in there.
Really?
And I thought
We spent almost
should have done that.
almost 40 or 50 bucks extra per person to stay in this. I mean, it was an awesome little.
It was
inn.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
this old house. The house was actually built in 1890, and they had 2 outbuildings.
Okay.
Well, this really cool old man. I mean, he's probably 85 years old.
Right.
He bought the location, renovated the 2 outbuildings into little hotels.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And they're like I think 6 people you can fit in one, and 6 people you can fit in the other. And I mean, for what you get, it's relatively cheap.
Right.
So we ended up booking that, and it would have been nice if I would have actually been able to sleep, but everybody else seemed to get us some good rest.
Yeah, our newer guy kind of snored really super
That'll
loud.
happen,
And yeah.
Next time, get both up with all the snores in one, and then all the quiet sleepers in another.
And we've already discovered that Richard, our other new guy, he's already admitted to being a very heavy snorer. So them two,
He can sleep in the car.
they're roomies.
Yeah.
They're roomies.
Fair enough, that's fair.
Richard already said whenever we have to get hotels, he's getting his own room because he snores loud and want to keep us up. So
That's funny.
No, with me it was just it was a lot of energy. I was drinking coffee at 4:00 in the morning.
Ugh.
And at 5:00 when we laid down, I was like, well, I'm so tired, I'm gonna pass right out. And then 8:00 I gave up and just got out of bed. And then it was about 9:00 I finally laid back down and I slept for an hour. And then we got back in the car and drove 3.5 hours back. I didn't drive, I sat in the back seat, but it's still
Well,
I
hell, it
can't
was
sleep in
like-
cars.
it was like almost 4 a.m. I did a Facebook Live video asking people, okay,
You weirdo.
Me.
I'm just kidding.
him and Jared are all gonna ask you guys what areas you want us to kind of do a solo
Oh,
EVP
yeah.
session and stuff. And
I was the only
of
one who did
course,
it.
he did the basement. Yeah, at that point, it had gotten so late that I just kind of thought to myself, I feel like I'm about to fall asleep, even if I go into one of these rooms by myself. Like, I'm that tired. And then thinking about putting all the stuff together to go back to our room, I'm like,
Right.
screw it. So yeah, he just technically did that on his own before we ended up heading.
I had a
back
static
out.
camera down there, so I was like, well, I'll just go down by myself and get the static camera, and I'll just sit down there for 5-10 minutes and do a little EVP session.
Yeah.
And I was
Right.
sitting down there, I walk into the building, and I'm like, because you have to actually go outside and then go down one of these
Okay.
exterior basement
Yeah.
doorways. And, this door, I'm actually going to use the sound that it made as an effect later, because, I mean, it's one of those, like, old, creepy doors. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so cool. But, like, I'm opening it, and I'm holding the camera, and I'm, like, looking through my viewfinder, because, it's pitch black.
Right.
And I'm, like, in my head, I'm like, there's going to be something on the other side of this door. I know it. Of course, there's not. I go in and around the corner, because the basement's massive. I go
Right.
in around the corner over by, there's 2 rooms that they called the refugee rooms, because it was an Underground Railroad stop.
Right.
So they had the big basement doors where, they would signal in at nighttime, and the runaway slaves would run in and take refuge in these 2 rooms. They were chimney cleanout rooms.
Okay,
The
yeah.
base of the chimney goes down to those 2 rooms, and that's where you can go in and, clean out all the ash and everything. Well, that's where the runaways would hide.
That you guys posted a picture of that, didn't you? That area?
You'd have to ask her. She
I
does all the
believe
posting.
so because I went through.
I think you're right, though. I
It
think
wasn't.
she
I was
posted
wondering
quite
if
a
that's
bit
what
of
it was.
pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went down, and it's like a hallway, and those 2 doors are across from each other, and I sat in between those 2 doors, and I'm like, okay, this is, I got some vibes. It's
Right.
a little creepy down here, and you're by yourself. And I'm like, that's enough. I grabbed my camera
I'm
and went
good.
back upstairs. I'm walking with my roving camera, I have my recorder in my pocket, my static camera with tripod and everything. I'm like trying to squeeze through and like get out the
Right.
door. And I'm like, all right, that was fun.
Nice. Did she find it okay?
Yeah.
I've thought about getting back in contact with a local business that we did an investigation for, the Three Rivers Distillery.
Okay.
We didn't have a whole lot. We caught an EVP. We didn't
That
catch
was
a
a pretty
whole
good
lot.
EVP, actually.
But I thought about getting in contact with the owner again and just asking if there's been any spikes or if they've had anything going on, and
Right.
because we didn't take Carrie, our psychic. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, I thought about going back to that, or at least contacting them to see what kind of experiences they had, because a lot of the employees didn't know that we were coming.
Okay.
And then after we were done and we left and everything, they found out, and like we went back the next day, or no, the next weekend, to go over some anything
Yeah.
that we might have caught, and they're like, yeah, ever since they found out you were here, everybody keeps looking over their shoulder and thinking they're here and stuff, and
That's why I want to talk to him beforehand. It would have kind of been nice to, to
Right.
interview them too, because essentially when
Yeah.
you do a business
We-
like that,
we did interview the general manager, and we interviewed. She's actually not the owners. I think she's the president, because the real owner owns multiple locations.
Okay, yeah.
And she runs 2 of them, I believe, is kind of the vibe that I got from it. And then he was the general manager, so he managed that one location.
Okay.
So they spent most of the time there, and she was there when they were rebuilding the location, because it was, they actually knocked down a whole building and rebuilt one. And
Okay.
then they kept one of the old buildings, and that's where they do the distilling. One side's a restaurant, one side's a distillery.
Okay.
So that's kind of how they did that. And she was there during the building process. So they had workers that were remodeling it that experienced tools moving, like sliding across the floor
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Oh,
and,
neat.
Arguments
Neat but
and
scary.
conversations between people that aren't there. And, I went in, because it's right downtown Fort Wayne.
Mhm.
So I went in with the conversation pieces like, is there somebody on the back side of the wall? On the outside of the building?
Right.
They're brick walls. They're insulated.
Yeah.
And then they're, they got the actual like interior walls. So it's like, okay, they're old windows.
But you're going in with trying to debunk anything
Right,
that you can.
Right. So I'm like, all right, maybe the conversations were, people walking around outside, because it's not a bad side of town, but it's
Right.
not exactly a side of town where it would be uncommon to see somebody walking around at 2:00 in the morning.
Right. Well, at 2:00 in the morning, they're probably gonna be loud anyway. It's 2
Exactly.
a.m. You can't hear yourself when you get drunk. I know I can't. I'm just like, what?
That
what-
EVP though that I
Yeah.
caught, that was my first EVP, and I knew for a fact it was not me or anybody.
Right.
In the actual
Is that
brewery
the
area
top?
in the back. Yeah. Him and everybody they were all in a completely separate area from me. I was by myself with camera and EVP recorder, and I was just kind of walking around. And I went into a certain area back there, which actually is the same area that the owner and some of the staff had said it sounds like people talking, like almost like spirits are talking to each other or
Right.
something. And so when I went back there, I was asking questions in the recorder, and I said, if somebody's here, can you please, talk into the recorder. I
Right.
felt like I said talk a lot of times, which made me laugh because all the spirit said back was talk. Like it was like right by the speaker, a voice just said talk. And it was not
sounded
me
like a
or
guy.
anybody. And
Huh.
I thought,
Man's voice.
wow, like
Yeah.
they didn't exactly say a sentence. They just kind of mocked what I
Just
said, but they said something.
Something. Right. Right.
So
That's
that
neat.
was pretty cool. That was a good EVP, at least, that we had caught there. And I did a Facebook Live in that same area.
Mhm.
And when I was doing that, I caught it was like a glowing, moving orb just went right across the screen. And I knew it wasn't a bug or anything because it almost like left a trail
Right.
behind it
Mhm.
of light. It was really weird. And I remember, don't ask me why, but I looked at it with my own eyes and saw it. And then for some reason, my first reaction was looking at my phone to make sure that I had it on my phone instead. So I
It
thought,
actually,
shit.
it
Yeah.
actually did turn. It went. If you look at the video, it's actually over probably a 15-foot
Okay, yeah.
distance. So it actually went straight, and then did almost a 90-degree turn, but it left like a check mark.
Okay.
And
yeah.
by the time it actually turned and came back the opposite direction, you could still see the trail from when it started.
Interesting.
And if
Yeah.
anybody's curious, we do have the video on our newly built website. So if you just go to scarencounters.com,
About damn time that thing's up
photos and
running.
videos, it's
Right.
going to be in there. I
I'm
know.
just kidding.
I'm still doing different stuff on there,
I'm
but
sure you always will.
yeah.
Especially adding new
For
stuff
sure.
and you
Yeah.
guys go to new places.
But yeah, that's the goal at least there. I mean, with all the different places we're going to go to, there's no way I'm going to have like a page full of every single place that we're going to.
Right.
So I'll probably update it to most recent or most active maybe.
Yeah.
With a slideshow of our photos in there and, videos of stuff that we caught. But we're hoping, here it'll get into the Google search engine so that people, especially in our
Google.
area, just look us up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Be a
complicated.
good way to
For
get
sure.
us in.
The Google machine?
Yeah. There's a lot of algorithms
like,
and stuff like
Oh
that.
God, yeah.
'Cause once you connect it with Google, it's not as easy as just like doing a Google search and your website comes up. No,
Right.
like when we put in keywords and stuff like that, it takes weeks and even sometimes months for it to actually show up on Google.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can actually type in scarencounters.com and it'll take you right there.
Mm-hmm.
To actually do a Google search of like, you know, Fort Wayne paranormal teams or something
Right.
like that, it just doesn't pop
Right,
up.
to
Yeah,
put you
it's
with
going to
that.
take some
Yeah,
time for
yeah.
it to start to happen, but
Huh.
it will hopefully at some
Does anybody
point.
have any questions for Scar Encounters? Really, guys? Come on. Josh, I know you do. What? Like, what? What? No? Nothing?
We've probably covered it all.
No. How many residential investigations have you guys did?
Right now, just 2.
Yeah, just 2 so far.
So you
and-
guys, I say, yeah, it's just 2, but do you guys prefer the residential or the other?
I like the residential, meeting people and, you know, hopefully being able to, in the 2 cases we've had so far, one of the 2 we've been able to help. The first one, we couldn't really help too much. It was one of those Carrie really didn't pick up on too much,
Okay.
but she did get him in contact with somebody who can help.
Okay. Well, that's
And
good.
Whether he took those steps or not, we're really not sure. He never really updated us, and I don't know if you ever really asked him how things have been going lately. I know he's been going through some other personal stuff.
Yeah.
He kind of had I guess, multiple attachments. There was like a dark fog type of attachment that would be at the edge of his bed. One, a different medium had possibly picked up on maybe a Native American woman that was attached to him because he had a lot of Native American descents.
Okay.
And so basically it was one of those things where this team that had helped us with helping him get more information found out it's nothing we could do to fix it. He actually had to get in touch with his tribe. His tribe would be the one to help him.
Which makes
Whether
sense.
he did that or not, we're not sure.
Okay.
What kind of made Carrie nervous about that one is that he almost acted like he wanted to keep this around. Like he was going to miss it.
Oh, wow.
Because he was so used to years of this dark attachment everywhere he went. So
That's interesting.
you
Almost like
can't
it was taking
do
him
anything
over.
for clients when it's like that. It's just like, here you go. This is what you're dealing with.
Right. We'll
it's up
try
to
to
you
guide
what you
the
wanna
way
do
that can
now,
help
you
If
know?
you want it
Yeah.
gone.
And there was, I mean, for us psychic mediums, there was nothing. There was
Right.
nothing to catch. We didn't have any EVPs. There was no video. There was no devices.
So, now that I'm thinking about it again with this empath stuff, when we were there, remember when I was standing and I was literally just standing there. Everybody's sitting in the living room, asking questions. I was standing there with a camera. I was very short of breath at some point, and my heart was like
Yeah.
pacing, like I was having anxiety, like an anxiety attack for no reason at all. I just was standing there, and I could feel it pounding outside my chest. Had a hard time breathing, and I got kind of uncomfortable, and I actually stepped out in the back. They had this sliding door. I stepped right out to get some
But
air.
you'd almost think, though,
And
with negative entities that, well, they clearly don't want to go anywhere. They're kind of here to
yeah,
make your life. That's what they want to do. That's what they thrive on, is the negative energy. That's what's going to keep them here.
mm-hmm.
He may have been quiet on purpose. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just my thoughts. I mean, what do
Yeah.
you guys think?
yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that really, God, it's all coming together to me more and more now. Because that was another one of those things where I thought, well, I don't know why I'm feeling this way.
And you kind of
Maybe I just
shrug
need
it
a
off.
cheeseburger or something right now. Why am I like lightheaded and heart pace and all that? I don't know. But
That's fantastic, believe me. You pick up that energy.
that's crazy. Yeah, because like I said, that stuff doesn't happen often. So that definitely was interesting. But no, I mean, more specifically though, definitely our medium Carrie. She loves doing residential the most
Okay,
because she has the abilities to be able to help spirits cross
Yeah.
over and help clients a lot more than we can really have the ability to.
Right.
And our excitement is going to these awesome, notoriously haunted, locations.
Yeah.
Break our banks doing it half the time, but doing what we
It's
like to
fun.
do, doing what makes us happy. So
And I'm a little bit of an architectural I wouldn't say nerd or snob because
Guru.
like I don't really know a lot about the buildings or like the different designs and what they're called, but like I appreciate them. I'm
Yeah, yes,
fascinated by
yes.
them. Some of them I can tell you what designs they are, like you know,
Right.
a
You know, the-
Victorian or a Greek
yeah.
revival.
Mhm.
But like anything beyond that, it's like it's just a really pretty house, or it's
Yes.
just a really cool.
Well, being
looking
able to
building.
get out there and enjoy the history of,
Right,
of
exactly.
things, where
It
you're
is.
looking at things actually at a different light now, where you can appreciate the beauty versus just driving by or walking by and be like, meh, you know.
Yeah, we found
It's-
ourselves doing that a lot on the way up here. It's like, oh, look at that house. I wonder
I know.
if that house is haunted. Or...
I do that all the time. Can we stop here?
Oh yeah.
Or I'll see a cemetery. I got a thing with cemeteries. Maybe not necessarily taking out my equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
I've
don't
always
know.
loved cemeteries.
And my my daughter's right there. Mom, just keep driving. I'm like, come on, 5 minutes, 5
Yeah.
minutes. I'll take you for ice cream. 5 minutes. Yeah.
At 17, though, does the ice cream trick really still work?
No, sometimes it depends.
Only if it's Rocky Road.
No, I'm with him
Exactly.
though. I mean, even when going to some places that you realize might not be active, might not catch anything, just the experience of going to that place
Yes.
and being able to say you've been there, and just the history of it and the architecture and everything. It's like that alone just
Oh, for sure. It's
that
being
makes me
able to
happy.
see that, yeah,
So
being able to enjoy some places you never otherwise would have done. What, Jody? I'm just kidding.
I want to go
he
to Bobby
always
Mackey's.
talks about that.
Oh
one.
yeah, that
so
was on
bad.
his wish list.
It is.
Oh no.
Let's make it. All right,
He wants to.
let's write it down. Let's make a date.
Now, Carrie,
Yeah.
I was like, we get
Carrie
enough
has
people to
told
go.
me-
I mean, she's like, I don't care. I'll write myself
Yeah.
up.
Carrie has told me that she went there, right? And she didn't pick up on anything.
Kentucky,
Yes,
Tennessee.
it is
Kentucky,
right
maybe.
on the Kentucky and Ohio line. What is that? Not Cincinnati. Maybe it is Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Yeah, it's right in Cincinnati. Yes.
Did they let her down in the area where the well?
They say that happened, but I did a little bit of research on it, and there's actually nothing. I don't remember who was telling me. I was reading somewhere that there's actually no written proof of that woman dying,
Right.
or even that those guys that supposedly did it even went there. So I was very curious on that because I'd obviously heard it first on Ghost Adventures. Because,
Yeah, they've always hyped up that being
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
that's so dangerous.
right.
And I don't know if there's any truth to that.
Our medium Carrie actually has been there, and she said she picked up on literally just one spirit. It was almost like, kind of like an usher at the door. He was there, and he presented himself to her, and he was friendly. That was the only one that she saw there, so she wasn't super impressed with the place. But I'm sure since
I don't
she
care.
knows
I
we
still
wanna
want to go.
I was gonna say just to say, yup, I've been there. It's
Yeah.
whatever. You can just.
And you never
Yeah.
know. She always tells us, like,
Zach Bagans was so scared.
I know. Yeah, what else? I got this.
well, she's always said, that some spirits don't want to show themselves to her and communicate.
Mhm.
She'll have some that are welcoming and will talk to her and show
Watch.
themselves, and then others that just don't.
Watch, I joke about it being like not a big deal, and I actually go there and I like have a mini heart attack and pee because I get so scared. That's gonna be the
Just-
place.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, I was
Zach
wrong.
does own the Divot box, so I
yeah.
gotta give him some credit for that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
true.
that's for sure. Another
That's a lot
thing,
of-
we didn't talk with you much, I think, about Westland when we went to Westland Historic Village Park.
Westland, I
No,
forgot.
you
'Cause I
didn't.
think
Because
you
I
asked
actually
me.
we were gonna look into that.
Brenda, Great Lakes Paranormal. She Brenda, she actually had told us, because she kind of opens and closes up the place to people
Okay,
that want to
yeah.
check it out. She said that she actually had a police officer that let her know that he got freaked out because the Eloise building, they have 3 different buildings
Yeah.
you can investigate. The Eloise building, he saw a woman, second floor, like walking around. He thought somebody was in there. And he had to
Oh,
tell her about
wow.
it because it creeped him out. Nobody was there. It was just him. Pulled right
Right.
up and saw that.
Oh dang.
When we went there, we actually was it? Carrie actually picked up on, it was in the Octagon house, this back area where a piano was. She said this spirit did not like her, did not want her in that area, was like trying to push her out.
Right.
And and then if anything, the most activity we got out of those 3 buildings was the very front one. So if you guys ever investigate there, the farmhouse,
Okay.
that is where I think a lot of the activity is probably going to be. So basically, Carrie had discovered there was kind of like a middle-aged man. She picked up on the spirit there. And it was funny because we actually, if you go on our page, we have a quick video of it.
Yeah.
And this even further validates, like, Carrie being a medium, because I always slightly just skeptical of mediums.
Yeah, well,
and then
yeah.
the more I got to know her and the more places she's been with us, I'm like, holy
You get to
crap,
know
like,
her.
she's spot on with everything.
Yeah.
We had Kelly, our former team member, she was recording in the 2nd floor bedroom. She was right by the doorway, recording us in there. We're sitting and asking questions and talking and stuff. And like real life where we didn't hear anything, we were just sitting there.
Right.
I look over at Carrie and she's just sitting there and she just starts like chuckling. She's looking over at the doorway. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, what are you seeing right now? And she looks over at Kelly and she goes, he's right behind you. Kelly's like,
What?
and it's crazy because the video clip that we posted, literally, like, I think it was barely a minute before she told her he's behind you, we caught a male voice that actually came out and said, right behind you. Like, you could hear Ricky and Kelly just, like, joking and talking right when Kelly got done laughing or something. You just hear this voice that comes out and says, right behind you. And it was a man's voice whispering, was none of us.
Right.
Ricky was the only dude in there, and he doesn't exactly have a low voice. So when we watched that, and then for her to after that be like, he's behind you, like, totally mind blown.
Right. Oh my god.
But I mean, it's a cool place. I think it's another one that's kind of like a hit and a miss too.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, that's what you said to me
But-
when I was asking you about it.
Yeah,
for
to
us
be,
to
at
go
least
in.
have that. Like, that's why I thought, you know, if you guys ever want to check it out, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
I definitely liked it. I like the fact that you can investigate 3 buildings, not just one. But
Yeah,
3.
exactly. Yeah, because
Like, that's
she sent me a
awesome.
list of things or locations that she has access to that we
Yeah.
can do. I also wanted to do, I think it was the mansion or the governor's mansion in Marshall.
She was trying to get us to go there, Brenda, at Great Lakes. Great Lakes Paranormal.
Yeah.
Brenda had mentioned for us to kind of show up over at the governor's mansion, but I
Where?
forget. I don't know. I'll have to see what that weekend was, but I don't
I
know if
love
that,
mansions. I would want to go to a mansion. We haven't
that
done one
might
yet.
have been on a Friday during the day, which I would work, so I don't know if that would work out
Right.
so much. But
I don't work.
He's like, but I don't.
I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
But yeah, sometime that would be cool to look into. There's like so many places though to think of like where to go, but it's just a matter of the travel. If you need a hotel, how much it costs. Do you want extra people so that you can all save money?
Right. Yeah.
Because obviously a big one, we want to go to Waverly Hills Asylum.
Yes.
Sometime next year, we want to do it.
Yes, I keep hearing about that.
That's a big one. I mean, I actually want to go to any
Julie
asylum.
wants to go.
All right,
I
we'll
want to
put you
go
down.
to any
We'll put you
asylum.
down.
That's the
Okay.
goal.
Yeah. Be a
Yeah,
good time.
for sure.
It's in Kentucky.
Yep, that's in Kentucky.
Yeah. I love Kentucky. I mean, I was born in Tennessee, so maybe I just have a drive or a draw to the south.
Yes,
but
yes.
I was born
She's
in
beautiful.
Clarksville on the military base, but of course my dad got out of the army like 6 months later. So I've lived in Tennessee, but I don't have any memory of it. You know, I've got my grandma, my uncle, his kids, my aunt. And they all live down there. They moved down there after we moved back up here. But I go down there maybe once every 10 years, and that's it.
Misha's like, what? Where? A 12-year-old? I want
Somebody I can play with?
Yeah.
She's hell yeah.
Just walked right through her. Now I feel bad.
You're like, oh man.
So on that note, I'm guessing you guys have who has like abilities in Okay. So, is it like empath, psychic medium, or?
I'm just here.
You look super familiar. No, I've been thinking it since I got here. Like you look familiar. I don't know why, but.
Oh, she's so cute.
What about you? Is it the same thing, like empathic? Or? Awesome.
I don't know if my mom's a master or not, but I know she does it. Okay.
That's interesting.
I'll have to ask her.
Oh my god, that's the one thing I forgot to bring up. The card reading. She picked up healer with me. That was the first thing when she slapped them cards. She said, "You got healer type of abilities."
I'll be honest, I don't remember any of the cards.
I got nothing.
Yeah, she said something about, like, with my personality, like, I have a very caring type of personality. So, like, I care a lot more about, like, other people around me and getting them taken care of more than myself because I've been through a lot of stuff. I don't want them to experience things that I've been through. So, aside from having that side of my personality, she had, had this card that said, that I got these healing abilities that I apparently never knew that I might have.
May I?
Yeah.
Is she?
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, I'm scared. She's walking up to me.
Really.
What am I feeling? Are
Staring
you
at
reading me while I'm doing this?
Podcast, just to let you know.
Sorry, guys, if you hear heavy breathing, it's me. Darth Vader.
Smack you.
Won't be
Got
the
a
first
free
time.
hand
Well, you
for
gotta do something for entertainment value, right?
'Cause I can feel
That's
it
all I offer.
starting to
And they
build
keep coming back
in
every
our
time, right?
hands.
That's right.
That's what
It's weird. It can come very
So how would you like to fight?
You don't even realize you're doing it.
Yeah.
I've done that.
So good. So
That's crazy.
It's like a miracle.
Yeah.
It's like one of those miracles.
I know, right? I shy
Yeah.
away from those.
And because I've always had the ability. I thought I was probably not.
Always
I'm
thought
like, yeah,
that.
probably no.
I think
but
that's a
it's just-
requirement.
Yeah, I think it is, but
It makes me wonder. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody, like, in my family line that has had these abilities or have
That's what I
known
was
of
gonna
them,
ask.
but, like, at least I know on my mom's side, like, some of my ancestors, we have had, like, witches, but they were, like, healing, a good type of witch. Yeah.
it runs in your family.
Yeah. So
Healers.
that
She can be
that
part
makes...
of my coven that I'm making. I'm so excited.
Oh God.
He's like, oh,
He's like,
my
oh God, here we go.
You just go ride your dirt bike.
She's gonna put
You
on,
just
like,
go ride your dirt bike,
I
mister.
don't even have
I'm
one.
just- I don't yet.
have
I
one
like
yet.
how
I
you
have to
threw-
3D print it.
I don't even have one yet.
I have to have a house first. I live in an apartment. There'd be no.
Yes.
Last year I wrecked my bicycle.
like
my
you're,
bicycle. I
Because
broke
he was
my
doing
jaw.
day drinking.
what the hell did you do? Oh,
I have
gotta love
scars.
day drinking.
I broke my jaw. I chipped a tooth, or I lost half a tooth.
Was you going downhill like super fast or
Flat.
like?
Flat ground, downtown Fort Wayne.
I didn't know him at this time, by the way.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out there.
So when she tells me I need to get a dirt bike, I'm like,
Helmet.
I don't think my parents would approve of this.
So-
I don't think I would approve of this. I'm still paying off the bills. I don't know if Carrie does that because I think we talked about it at one time and she had somebody else that she's in contact with through Spirit Mechanics. She's got friends that, they can do remote readings, and that's who we actually got to help out our first client that was kind of like more of a complicated case. It wasn't just a spirit lingering that we crossed over. It was more of an attachment. So we actually she called one of her friends to do a remote reading, and that person was able to give him the steps that he needed to do in order to.
Yeah. As far as if
Vamos.
Carrie does it, I'm not sure if she has or has done it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if she reached, I guess, into herself a little bit more, she probably could.
You know what? Now that I think about it, she must know how to, because she told me, remember on my birthday, she showed up at the party and she randomly just out of nowhere was just like, do you guys know anybody that drives like a white van or something? Because she's like, when I got off the phone with you earlier today, I picked up on somebody, whether it's your family friend or somebody in a white van, and whatever it is, it's not really good news, like something not good. And she said, whoever they are, they need to be careful. And I kept thinking, I don't know. It's just like, my dad drives a Cordy van,
It's
a
like
work
box
van.
truck.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, crap, I hope nothing's going to happen to him. Couldn't really think of anybody else. And oh my God, it was like barely a week later. My mom calls me and she goes, so your dad got into an accident with the truck. The truck is okay, but the people that hit him like from behind, they totaled their van. And I was like, what color van was this? White. I was like, wow. But the fact that she picked up that stuff while on the phone with me, now that really, she must know how to do that, but maybe she just doesn't like talk about
Look
that.
at you all opening up over here.
I know everything's
Look at
coming
that.
together one by
Look at
one.
He's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And I would go there.
Hmm.
I'd be here, but I'd go there.
I need to
Mhm.
go to the restroom. You guys
Houses,
keep talking amongst
what was
yourselves.
there, you know, male, female,
Like L.
and
Like L. Stranger Things. She gets the white noise going, and she can,
Yeah.
go. You know what I'm talking
She
about.
can-
It's
she can
concept.
do it.
You're an
yeah,
L.
there's been a couple of them I went into.
I think your
did
mom
well,
can
and
too.
and both of the ones that he had me go into, he says, okay, and that was it.
That was gonna be my next comment, was if I saw all that, and okay, bye.
You need to forget what you saw.
I'm on like some levels of Inception and shit right
Not
now.
that
Like,
one.
okay, so was the little boy like living, breathing, just
Yes.
like us? So you were.
He was possessed. There was a
Okay, so
demonic
the-
possession, and he
the-
was possessed by one of the demons.
Hey,
that
Jody,
the
come
creature
closer.
that was there.
Was
Come closer.
was the dog like? Was the dog real, or was that
Everything
just
was
like?
real.
Okay.
Everything there was real.
Okay.
I went into this home, and like I said, I'm standing just like this.
So this
There's a
little boy
hallway in
actually
front of
killed
me.
this dog. I'm stuck on that. I
The
love
boy
dogs.
Okay, technically, the demon made the boy.
Right. Yeah.
I'm good, thank you. The demon made the boy kill the dog. I mean, that dog had
serial
blood
killer
everywhere. It was bad.
Yeah, that's what I
it was
gonna
bad.
say.
Yeah.
This boy was like only 9, 10 years old,
Yeah.
possessed.
That's what serial killers do.
Well, this one was possessed, so he really didn't have
He's
any
a
control
possessed
over it.
Future serial killer.
If
Uh-oh.
he never
Let's
got
just go there.
unpossessed.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't know what happened to him. I was
Criminal
just
I love
being
criminal minds.
tested per se by
He
someone
keeps
who does
killing
this all the time
things.
because they wanted to know exactly what I was capable of. That's what we were trying to find out, exactly what I'm capable of. Apparently, I'm capable of more than what even I know. So I'm still learning.
That's gotta be both
And-
intriguing and scary at the same time.
Doesn't scare me, not a bit. I'm one of those oddballs.
Don't scare
that's-
me.
I'm like you.
I'm not afraid.
I have no abilities in that sense. I'm like you in the
Are you
sense
You'd
of
be
like,
surprised.
I was
I
gonna say,
want-
you might want to think again.
like Carrie's
I
like,
think
yeah,
you do.
anytime we go somewhere and we sense demon, I'm gonna try to get everybody out. I'm like,
I want to talk to
No.
it.
You do know why, though.
well, she's protecting. She's trying to protect us.
yeah, but demons feed or negativity in any
Demons are
sense
different.
feeds
Right.
on fear.
Right.
If you're afraid, they're gonna come for you first.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. Like, even though I have,
really have no fear.
I have the skeptical side of the paranormal. Yes.
You used to drive a bus.
But
Having
oh,
fear.
God help you. I was a kid on a bus, so I feel sorry for you.
I love
No.
buses.
Demons are nothing.
No, I 100% will always believe
Take the other kids to school.
believe in demons.
So,
I believe in God. So to sit there and say that I don't believe in demons would be to say that I don't believe in God. With light comes dark, with good comes bad, and with God comes
And then
devil.
there's multi dimensions.
Right, exactly.
There's
so
people
it's
like myself and Mary that can see dimensional.
do I want to see a chair go flying across the Will it probably ever happen?
That's the way I am.
It's such a minute chance.
Bring
It
it, let me
probably
see it. I
won't
wanna
happen,
feel-
but
I
I
wanna
want
feel
to.
it. I want to feel it.
But now Carrie, she's like, oh yeah, anytime we send something demonic, she's at least I'm out. I'm like, you might have to leave me there then, because I'm in.
Yeah.
We're probably already paid to get in, so.
Mm-hmm.
I want
But
to know. I want to
will
know
it-
why they are there, what they are after, what satisfaction.
Somebody,
I want
purposes.
answers
somebody
from
be
the demons.
stupid enough to stand around and talk to him for a while. That's why I'm
They
there.
want somebody to talk to. Jody's just the gal.
She's the person.
I'm going in.
I'm having no
Yeah.
conversation with a demon.
I've
Okay.
had conversations with two
Grace,
so
If
far.
you need a cameraman,
I'm out.
call me. 'Cause I'll be there.
Yeah, we need a
You
tag
two-
team with you
I
guys.
can't
That would
see
be
it.
entertaining.
Oh,
Take Zach
at
Bagans in
minimum.
there and talk to the demon.
Oh,
Take
Zach
Zach
Bagans.
though, because he's good at getting rid of them.
Yeah, that's one thing though. I will never go in alone.
Yeah,
No.
that's
Yeah.
smart.
No.
And
That's-
I would
Absolutely
be the same way.
Carrie's
That's
actually
stupid.
said the
You
same
wanna
thing.
make
She
sure
said after experience that she's
Mhm.
even had,
Because
she
Well, it's
they
not
won't
so
go
much
alone.
the spirits and demons
You
that
wanna
I
make
mean.
sure there's somebody there
This
that
might
can
sound a
help
little
you
crazy.
come
Right.
back.
I have a
Or
respect
follow
for
you
them.
home.
I don't fear them.
Yeah.
I'm more
yeah.
afraid
the
of
worst
people
one, I think.
than I am spirit.
We've talked about this
Yeah.
too.
People, to me, I mean,
People are unpredictable.
they are. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, spirit can be too. Don't
True.
get me wrong.
Oh,
they
people
can do a
be.
lot of stuff, but
But I'm talking demons.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just don't have a fear of it.
No, I ain't bringing no
Yeah.
demons.
I was put here for a reason.
put you two in the scariest room somewhere and you're all set.
Yeah. It's funny though, if I pick up on a lot of negativity, my whole body will tremble. I mean, I'll just shake just like that. It's crazy. And it's like, okay, we got something nasty going on here.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, because I rehab some
She
houses,
said
and
she was
I'll
doing
tell
it, it's
you, all
like,
I had to do is call her up and say, Jody, what's in my house?
Oh yeah, we had
What's in
a
this house?
possessed mirror.
Yeah, the walnut house.
Did you keep the mirror?
No.
Oh, no,
I told her
no.
to cover that up
No,
and
that
don't
mirror-
tell anybody it's
That
there.
mirror the mirror got taken out. It got removed. The
Where
mirror-
is it?
The mirror was removed. It was put in a box and it was put in a dumpster, and I don't know where.
Oh God, no.
It is a portal,
Yes, it is. It's a.
and if it
it's,
gets broken, I don't know what's
You
going to
don't
happen.
want to know where that. I hope the heck it's not broken.
What happens if it breaks?
I'm betting.
Probably.
I'm
Nice.
betting.
What happens if it breaks?
That's a
All
free
hell
for
breaks
all.
loose.
That's a free for all
It's like
because the mirror
Ghostbusters.
itself, the mirror itself
You almost
contains
made me spit water.
a portal.
It's true. It's like
You break
opened
that.
up,
It's like burning
let
a
all the
Ouija
ghosts
board.
back loose.
They're free.
They
They are free.
marshmallows.
You need to make sure you get all those pieces together and
All that shaving cream.
like consecrate it, clean it, cut it.
Whose mirror was it to begin with? Was it just
It was
like
a
you?
the house.
It's a
Oh, it
house
came
that
with
she
the
bought and
house.
rehabbed.
Oh.
Listen, I had bigger fish to fry in that house than that mirror. That mirror was like, put it in a box, take it out there, just make sure we don't break it on the way out, put it in the dump, not staying with the house.
Did you leave salt around the base of that house like I told you to?
I put salt everywhere in that house.
Good.
That house is so full of salt, I'm surprised what they didn't
that
fry
house.
everything.
You probably
before.
left the
right here in
spirit
town.
I
salty.
threw salt
That
everywhere.
house is right here in town, actually.
And we're not going to talk about where it's at.
No, I won't. But,
But
it's
it
here
is
in
for
town.
sale right now.
I wonder why.
I'm just going to mention
I
that.
wonder why.
It is for sale.
Look it up.
Say how
Zillow.
much.
We're looking.
It's a nice house.
It is a nice little house
Yeah.
after she
We
rehabbed.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't move her away from her dad.
Oh no.
Oh well. No.
Let me
She's
know.
like,
I do
here's
have a
we
nice
walk
house
through
for
this
sale
house.
in town.
You go upstairs, go to the left, and there was this door. I'm like, God, is that heavy? That is a heavy door. The door felt heavy.
That door is so cool.
And then you walk through this door, and there's this little, like, cubby hole storage place. And I'm like, place is full of them.
little boy up in
Little
there.
boy hiding.
Aw.
He
Hiding.
was scared. He was
Yeah, he
scared.
was scared. He was terrified. He
Yep.
was in that closet.
And then you go right after you come up the stairs, and there's a couple bedrooms. The one, there's something there, but nothing really big. And then I go in the other one, and there's a little teeny bathroom, and there's a window. You can see out, and there's a tree
Mhm.
You see.
In that tree, I'm seeing these two kids, two boys playing, and the one boy, they're brothers, pushed the other little boy off, and either he got caught and hung, broke his neck. There was something about his neck. It either choked him to death, or he got hung by a branch, or there's something really bad happened to him. But he died. He died right there. So it was that, and then in the basement.
Mr. Friendly. Mr. Friendly lives
you
in the
get
basement.
No, I
Every time you
booted
walk
him.
past the door to go to this basement, it felt like something was sucking you down those steps. And it didn't originally have a door on it. We had to make a special door for it. We had to cut a special door.
Oh wow.
He didn't like you coming down there.
But let me tell you, that guy,
Mm-mm.
he was not nice. We got him out of the house, but he was the control freak in the house.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he was an original owner.
Yep.
But he held people there.
Yep. I even felt like he may have killed his wife
And buried her.
and buried her. Yeah, in the middle, in the original chimney in that house.
My
Like,
God.
like in the base of it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because there's the stairs. You come in the house, and then the stairs are off here to the left, and you kind of go up. And there was a closet right there, and I kept stopping by that closet. And I'm like, my God, what is that? And I'm like, getting these flashes. Because sometimes that's how I see things in flashes. Sometimes I hear things. Sometimes it's like, it just comes to me and I spit it out.
Yeah.
But I kept seeing a woman that had been killed and that was buried. And then I kept seeing a chimney. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
He killed her and buried her in the base of that chimney when he built the house.
Jesus.
That's
And
what
this
I got
was
from
that
there. But she bought
your
it as a
house.
That I bought and rehabbed.
Yep.
Oh man.
And
Yeah.
it's a cool
It's
house. I
tearing
mean, it's a
down.
great
Yeah.
house.
It
It's
is.
a great
It's a great
house. It's all
house.
cleaned out. I mean, nobody's there anymore like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know.
Bummer.
But I actually, yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
bummer.
let's
He
pile and go.
He actually like faced off my contractor. I mean, he would show himself to you.
Mm,
Now,
oh yeah,
I don't
he's
normally
arrogant.
see
Very.
them. I'll feel them,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see them.
Right.
I know when somebody's there. And I've had a couple houses where I've dealt with the deceased wife of someone, like the Battle Creek house.
Mm,
Remember, she was in the basement.
yeah.
And Jody was looking at some pictures, and she said, "What's in the corner of this basement?" And I said, "I'm not sure, but there was an evil entity in there too that we had to get out of there."
Yeah.
But the guy's wife was still there,
He didn't want to leave.
and I knew her name, and so I had a conversation. As soon as I figured out that it was like her, I had a conversation with her, told her where her husband was, that he was okay, and she could go there, she could go on to the light, and she moved on. And I had the same way in my other house here in town. I would walk around in that house, and I didn't really feel anything in that house, but everything electronically, like my phone,
Mm-hmm.
I would be talking to my phone and just bam, it would be cut off.
Yeah.
And I'd be talking to my phone and just bam, it would be cut off. Just weird. And all of a sudden I'm like, and I finally figured it was that guy's wife who had passed away. And so I had a conversation with her.
Right.
And she moved on and didn't have a problem after that. But, just sometimes you pick up on them and sometimes you don't. But,
That's like the house on Barber Road that I grew up in.
Yeah. Oh. We don't want to go down those steps.
Well, the guy that lives there now, you don't want to deal with him. It's quite interesting. He's got big poles. I mean, poles like this all around the driveway. Doesn't want anybody even close to that house. He's got cameras everywhere on it now. And it's on Barber.
Okay.
Don't nobody come up
Yeah.
on my property.
Exactly. Oh yeah, he is. Don't want to even encounter this guy. He scares me more than the house does. The house doesn't scare me.
I know
live there.
everybody's like
But
scared.
anyway, when I was a kid, okay, my mom would always ask me to go down and stoke the fire because we had a wood stove, or go down and get some of the canned goods out of the basement. I would literally cry because I had to go in that dirt basement. It was bad.
That's how my mom's house was.
Oh, it was bad. There's some
I was scared of a basement
ornery
too. when I
stuff
was
in that
little.
basement. But anyway,
isn't there like a little crawl space just as
yeah,
you go
this
down?
crawl space. Have you ever seen? This is kind of funny, but have you ever seen the movie Boogans?
I don't.
No.
I say mimicking the
It's an old horror movie, okay? And the thing that I saw, because we had this dugout area where you had to go in to get to the pipes and stuff
Yeah.
under the house.
We had one of those.
Nasty in there. There was 2 or 3 different nasties in that basement. But I hated it. Hated that basement. Anyway, I slept upstairs. I mean, everybody slept upstairs. We had upstairs bedrooms. And I would sit in my room, you know, I have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the restroom, and I'd come out of my room, and there was a window, because my bedroom's here. You have to come around a little hallway, and then the stairway was here, and then turn to go around the stairway.
Yeah.
There was a window right there. Multiple times, not only I saw her, my mom's seen her, my brother's seen her. There was this spirit, white dress, and she was just like a nightgown. And she's just sitting there, and she'd just look at you and look out the window. Very peaceful, never bothered.
Pretty simple. Yeah.
Yep. Bothered anybody.
Well, wasn't there
Yep.
a house that you stayed at? Your friend's house was down in Gaskell.
Oh yeah.
It got the little demon things. The little.
Yes.
What were those little?
I was a
things?
teenager when this
They
happened.
weren't demons. What are they?
They're not, well, they're demonic, but
They're
minions.
Minions.
They're minions.
Little minions?
Yes.
Little blue or green people or what?
No, they're
No.
black with red eyes.
Oh.
They're about this big.
What in the world?
Yeah.
That's what I said. Okay, here I'm staying with this friend of mine. You know, he's sleeping in his bedroom, and him and his girlfriend are all sleeping in the bedroom, and it's probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Of course, you know, witching hour. Here we go. And I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I hear this. What the heck is that? And I'm just laying there, and I'm. Did I hear it? Did I really hear that? And I hear it again. So I'm like looking. I'm like, okay, I did not just see that, because I was doubting myself at that age.
Of course.
And so this went on for probably a half hour, 45 minutes. Finally, I hear it again. I don't, covering my head up, because I'm like, I'm not seeing nothing. I'm not hearing nothing. I'm just thinking I'm hearing this stuff at that point. I hear it again, and it's like it's right next to me. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like peeking under the covers. I'm like, this thing is staring at me, and I'm like, oh my god. Like I said, it's about this big and little, just pointy little ears and beady little
You should be
eyes,
like,
and I'm
oh, it's so cute. Can I pet you?
heck no. At that point, it's like, okay,
Probably had big sharp fangs.
what is that?
This was in a bed?
In a house.
Oh.
Yeah, at a friend's house.
It's in a house.
My brain went somewhere so
It
way
was in a
different.
house,
Like,
yeah. But there wasn't just, there was multiple. There had to been a dozen of them.
they're like little evil minions.
Yes.
We got some of them at work.
Absolutely. No, these are real, dude.
Little evil minions.
And they're about that
I'm
big.
like, those are gremlins.
Unbelievable.
But like I said, I was probably 17, 18 years old, 16, somewhere. Doubted myself completely. I don't doubt myself
I remember
anymore.
her telling me that story, and I was like, "Are you joking me? I'm so glad I can't see stuff. Honest to God, I'm so glad I can feel it."
Right?
Did you
Yeah.
tell her that she needed a new dealer at that point?
No, I believe her. 'Cause
No, I like my
Good thing I
dealer.
wasn't dictating
We should take a
anything,
group
huh?
photo
I
too.
knew
We should.
everybody
Yeah.
in the
That'd be a
family
good idea.
has disability,
Mhm.
and my daughter, it just blew me away when we even found out what she was capable of.
Right.
I just about fell over.
And I'm the
And-
one in the family that's the most open to accepting
Yeah,
them.
she's the most open to it. But my sister, you know, I can call my sister up and say, hey, you know, feel on this, and she'll tell me. I can take
Right.
my sister into a house that I'm redoing, and she'll say, oh yeah, this.
Right.
You know, 'cause he felt good.
Mhm.
And we got him out of the house, but actually, what happened in that house was, contractor, this guy. That guy that was in the basement, kept showing himself to my contractor. Seriously, he would show himself, and he'd get right in his face. And my contractor's like, "Oh, think?" You know?
Talking
my
back.
contractor's like looking at him, going, "Well, I don't know, but in the name of Jesus, you got no power up in here, and you need to go."
Not up in here.
Yeah,
You
that's what
gotta
he said.
go, buddy.
Basically, it was like like the two guys facing off. Because
Yeah.
he face off the guy that was in the house, and
he never showed himself to me, but a couple people saw him walk through the house,
Yeah.
walk the stairs, and but I never see him. I don't.
Yeah.
I just never see him. And I was, and so basically he said after that happened, after he faced off with him, he said, Lori, I'm not kidding you. This woman came down the stairs, and she had a little boy, and she had a little girl with her. And they came, he said, plain as day, they walked down the stairs, come around, and he looked at them, and he said, you're free. He has no power over you now. And he said they walked out the front of the house. He just about
Shut
passed
the
out.
front door.
They walked right out the house. But he'd been holding all these spirits
Yeah.
there like hostage.
Yeah.
It's my house and you're not going anywhere, and he just controlled them. And it was think that these people were still stuck there.
Stuff, yeah.
And I don't know if they were just people who passed away at some point in the house, and he just grabbed onto him and pulled.
Oh, huh?
What's up?
None.
I don't know. You want to tell a ghost story?
Oh, are you still recording?
Yeah. I just letting it record, taking up, just recording conversations. We got some good ones here. It's getting pretty deep, pretty intense, some of them.
My
Oh, yeah.
question
You
was
were.
going to be if you guys are ready to do a little investigation. At all?
Oh, yeah.
Before, I know me and him are going to have to head out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
2 hours drive.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll wait for